You know, Reb Mendele Burke, the holy Reb Mendele Burke became a Rebbe when he was 22. Sadly enough, he didn't live that long, but he was a Rebbe for 20 years. Every afternoon, 1 o'clock exactly, he was very punctual. Exactly 1 o'clock, he would go out from his room, go out on the street, go on a wagon, and anybody knows about Burke knows that he was very special. He was with horses, deepest secrets of the world. And he would go out for a ride. Do you know that every day hundreds of people were standing there? Just looking at him? They saw him yesterday. That wasn't the same person. He had moved hundreds of miles. And, but let me share with you something very deep. A lot of people are moving. How do you know if they're moving in God's direction? If they're moving backward or forward? I'll tell you something very, very deep. Imagine in 2 days from now, I'll meet somebody on the street and they will say to me, "Don't you remember you saw me 2 days ago?" How dare you? Do you know 2 days ago I was a different person? Do you know how much I moved in those 2 days? How much closer I am to God now? I mean, 2 days ago it was okay for me to be friends with you, but not anymore. You know, I'm so religious now. Do you know I'm a servant of... Can't you see it? I mean, I don't want to brag, you know. I'm humble, right? But just read the Jewish press about me next week, you know. A picture for me. I'll tell you something. Again, it would involve too many passages to recite before you. If you're moving in the direction of God, the more you move up there, you also move closer to people. And don't tell me you moved so close to God, suddenly you're away from people. You know, sometimes I meet people, I see it all the time, I'm sure you're the same way. And suddenly they became so religious and so holy, and they don't talk to you anymore. Because they moved, right? They moved backward. So I want to bless you and me, all of us. We should move forward. And you know, friends, the acid test is like this. That's the acid test. If you're getting closer to God, you're getting closer to people. Don't kid yourself. The Holy Book says, this is the acid test. If you want to know if you love God more, go out on the street. Are you blowing your mind over every human being you see? Who's created in God's image? You're okay, right? You really love God more. But if you walk on the street and every third human being you think is disgusting, this one is ridiculous, this one is obnoxious, and this one, I never understand why his parents got married. And I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. And listen to this. God says to Avraham Avinu, this a week later, right? Finally, our father Abraham is entering the covenant with God. How close can you get? Making a covenant with the one, the only one, with the one who lives forever. What's he doing 3 days later? He's running, he saw 3 pagans, and they looked hungry. He's running after them, begging them, please, please, please come to my house. You're crazy? Those are pagans. And he entered the covenant with God. I mean, really. What do you think those pagans are? Nothing, right? And I want you to know one thing. This was one of the tests of Abraham. Because those 3 angels came to tell him that he will have a son. I tell you one thing, the Zohar Kodesh makes it very clear. If Abraham would have not run after them, they would have not come to him, and Abraham would not have been privileged to have a son. Because that's it. You know, all of us, we need so much. We need so much to move closer to God, to move closer to people. But above all, the first portion which talks about Abraham, the servant of God, is Lech Lecha. Keep on moving. Don't ever stand still. Get closer to yourself, to the deepest depths of you. And get closer to every human being in the world. And just one more thing, let me tell you. What does it mean to be close? Close means not that I'm on the phone and every yente gives me a new recipe, you know. Really, I feel so close to those 20 women. I mean, I can't tell you. It's so uplifting. Have you ever heard two yentas talking to each other? One says, you know, this one is dead, this one is sick. And then she calls you back 5 minutes later, I'm sorry, I forgot the most important thing. Someone else is also sick. And then they tell you something else. I'm not talking about that kind of closeness. Close means that when I meet this person, I'm so close to my own neshama, to my own soul. It's clear to me suddenly what I really want to be in this world. What I really have to do. And there's so few people in the world who put you in that place. You know, inside, all of us, we're so deep. We're God's image, right? Very few people take us by the hand and push little gates open our own hearts and push ourselves to be close to my own neshama.